Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Florida.
New York City, normally a great place to visit, but for the Fish, not a great trip so far. They've dropped the first two of this three-game sets. The Jackie Robinson Rotunda, great entrance into a very nice ballpark here in Flushing. It's Marlins and Mets. You love when Mrs. Met. Wait, there's Jose Urena. He's warming up. The Mets getting ready. They're going to go with Adam Wilk in this ball game. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz. Welcome here. Todd Hollinsworth is with us. Now, when we start preparing for this game, weeks in advance, this was supposed to be Edinson Volquez against Matt Harvey. You saw Jose Urena. Everybody knows Volquez had a blister. Who is Adam Wilk? He's the guy that's starting. And Matt Harvey has been suspended for 3 games by the Mets without pay. This all broke about 2 hours ago. What are the ramifications for the Mets and for this ball game?
Well, I think the ramifications for the Mets really is just kind of dealing with the circumstances. Let's remember, this is the Dark Knight. This is a big story. This is New York. He's going to miss a start. Now, his numbers don't tell you that you're missing anything there. 5.15 ERA. The Atlanta Braves absolutely took it to him his last 2 starts. So, I mean, you can take from it what you will. I think it's just more of a bigger story, and everybody wants to know, why is he getting suspended?
So, Adam Wilk, what do we know about this lefty? Called up yesterday from AAA Las Vegas.
Well, he's a bit of a journeyman. He's bounced around baseball. This is his 5th organization. He's efficient. I mean, he's going to go out there today. He doesn't walk too many. You see the numbers there, 29 strikeouts in 6 starts. Only the 5 walks. That definitely stands out. His changeup is his best secondary pitch. I'm real curious to see how often he uses that. He's got an okay arsenal, 88, 89 miles an hour. He's not going to overwhelm you. He's just a classic guy who hangs around the game of baseball, gets results, and falls upon starts like this when guys get suspended.
Other part of the story is Miami's lineup. For Don Mattingly, it's sort of a Sunday lineup with some reserves in there, and the fact that all of a sudden the Marlins are facing a lefty. What do you see?
Well, I like what I see here. Christian Yelich slides up to the 2 spot. Ozuna Stanton. I think that stands there, but getting Ozuna the potential for another at-bat in a ball game is always a good thing. Why not? He's your hottest hitter right now. 467 on the road trip, hitting everything in sight, so you potentially get him another at-bat late in a ball game.
Hey, look at Miggy Rojas in the 5 spot. He's red hot as well. So a lot of right-handed bats in there. Jose Urena's first start of the season. He's been middle relief. He's had his moments this year, and he gets a big start on a Sunday in New York against the Mets. chill in the air. Let's go down in the field, get things started with Jessica Blaylock. Hi, Jess.
Hey, Rich. Jose Urena getting the start today for the Marlins in place of Edinson Volquez, who's currently on the 10-day disabled list with that blister on his pitching hand. Now, so far this season, we've seen Urena work out of the bullpen, but he has made multiple starts for the Marlins in the past. And Urena says no matter what his role may be, the preparation is always the same.
You know, like anything change for me, that'll be the same because I'll be out on the bullpen, but you know, like I'd be like the same, like how the started work, because a big couple like 6 days, 7 days, 5 days, and get out, So I'm the same role. If you'll be comfortable whenever the spot they need you, like if you can be there, you can handle this, and we can help.
You've come in already this season and given this team some really nice innings. How confident are you feeling in your stuff right now?
I just go out there and try to do the best I can, try to put a ball down, get a ground ball, and try to get it easy now.
And so far this season, Urena has done a pretty nice job for the Marlins, so hopefully he can help them get on the right track today. Now, because Urena has come out of the bullpen, the Marlins need a little bit of a boost to do that. They have recalled Brian Ellington from New Orleans. Odrisamer Despaigne, who started last night, has been sent down to make room for Ellington. Coming up next, it is the series finale between the Mets and the Marlins here in the Big Apple. Jose Urena versus Adam Wilk, who's filling in for a suspended Matt Harvey. First pitch is coming up next.
Brought to you by Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. By Jeep, get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. Today, the Marlins and the Mets are in Flushing. You can see the wind, and it's chilly. The Marlins lineup looks this way on a Sunday. Don Mattingly with a few wrinkles for you. It's brought to you by Southwest. T. Gordon, the leadoff spot. Christian Yelich moves up to 2. Marcell Ozuna moves into the 3 spot. Stanton hitting cleanup. Look at Miguel Rojas hitting 5th. Derek Dietrich gets a start at first base. A.J. Ellis behind the plate. Danny Echeverria's had a good road trip. He's in the 8th spot, and Jose Urena will hit 9th against Adam Wilk, the 29-year-old lefty.
You see his numbers at AAA Las Vegas. 6 starts, 2-3 record, 5.91 ERA. Remember, the ball flies in that division in the PCL, and so you don't read too much into that. One thing that does stand out are the walks and strikeouts. This is a 29-year-old left-handed pitcher. He's got good stuff, good 89, 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and a really good changeup.
Adam Wilk, first pitch in the big leagues since 2015, when he made a relief appearance for the Angels. His last start was 2012 for the Tigers.
Yeah, he made 3 starts in 2012, so it's been a little while.
And he bounces one up there to D. Gordon. Well, the story of the Marlins, I don't know where you want to start, but let's go with what they've done lately. They've dropped 5 of 6, 9 of their last 11. The odd thing is they've hit the ball quite well, especially here in New York. Pitch down low. They banged out 10 hits yesterday, out hitting the Mets. But the Mets outscored them 11-3. 13 hits on Friday night for Don Mattingly's bunch, but they lost to the Mets 8-7. And Gordon fouls it. The count 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I talk about it all the time, how important it is. And again, the Marlins did a lot of this well yesterday, getting that leadoff guy on base. But more times than not, unable to get that leadoff guy around to score. A couple of key double plays, a couple of ground balls where the inning just didn't really get going to follow up all those leadoff guys that were getting on. So for the Marlins, they can't be, I don't want to use the word necessarily dependent on the long ball, but that's kind of the sense you've had lately, is that if they're not homering, they're not winning.
Gordon drives that ball into right center field. Granderson in pursuit, and he runs it down. Granderson had a nice night last night with a couple fine running catches and a sliding catch as well. What's the scouting report brought to you by Auto Nation?
Well, you see it right there. Frequent flyer. This is his 5th organization. As I told you, 29 years old, so he's been around just a little bit. Another crafty lefty. Kind of told you what he's all about. Fastball, change, cutter, curveball. You're going to see that changeup a lot more than the cutter and the curveball to go along with that 89-mile-an-hour fastball. And does pitch to contact. That's the one thing that really stands out throughout his minor league journeys and the few opportunities he's had at the big league level, including last year. Is just that, he's going to go out there and he's going to throw strikes. He knows what his role is.
He's working with a good receiver in Rene Rivera, very good catcher, the best defensive catcher for the Mets. And of course, though the news broke this morning that Matt Harvey was suspended, and it did break about 10:30 Eastern time, Wilk was already here. He flew in last night, and so the Mets informed everybody that the suspension actually started yesterday. So the Mets knew with enough time to get Wilk on a plane. Las Vegas was playing in Albuquerque, your old haunts. Used to be a Dodger AAA outpost, and so he was here last night. He's had time to get ready for the start, and he's on start. This is his turn to throw in the rotation for AAA, and that's essentially why he's here.
Well, everything that's happened today has happened because the Mets have made it happen on their watch, on their time. I mean, this isn't something that happened this morning. They decided to suspend Matt Harvey, and all of a sudden they were in position. They were in cahoots. Oh no, what are we going to do? That's just not the case.
Yelich cranks one, but he pulls it foul way up into the second deck.
They chose to hold off today to announce the Harvey suspension. For whatever reason, I'm not really sure, because it did create quite a buzz around here, and certainly they were prepared for this. In fact, Matt Harvey was suspended yesterday as well. So the Mets did, I guess, a nice job of keeping it in-house.
3-2 to Yelich. Check swing. And the bottom line for Miami, it doesn't matter if it's Matt Harvey or Adam Wilk or Robert Gazelman or whoever they face, Rafael Montero on Friday night. Miami needs a win badly. They had one, they thought, on Friday night, a 7-1 lead, and it disappeared. The Mets had a big comeback against Miami's bullpen. That was as stinging a loss as this ball club has had this year. And then yesterday it was a wipeout by the Mets. And so Yelich works a walk, and he's aboard. Here comes Ozuna. Mets defensively behind this left-hander. Look this way.
They've been very good offensively, and have been pretty good defensively as well in this series. Conforto gets the start in left field. Curtis Granderson, as you mentioned, a very nice defensive game. Jay Bruce over in right field. Flores at third base. Reyes, Walker, Rivera getting it done at first base. Rivera also doing the catching. Rene Rivera working with Adam Wilk.
Marcell Ozuna certainly has enjoyed this road trip in this last week. Wilk has a good move to first. It's one of the scouting reports that is out on him. He falls behind Ozuna 1-0. Marcell, 8-game hitting streak. In this series, a double, a homer, and 5 hits. And there's the move to first. Yelich is back in.
I don't think Christian Yelich is going anywhere right now the way Marcell Ozuna is swinging the bat. Factor in Wilk being left-handed, Ozuna being right-handed. Just too hot right now to get too crazy in front of him.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Ozuna rips it into the corner, down into left field. Remember, Yelich has got a bit of a hamstring, and he cruises into third and holds there. Ozuna arrives at seconds, and he just keeps on swinging.
Absolute assault on the National League right now by Marcell Ozuna. Everything off his bat is loud, and when he gets his pitch, he doesn't miss it. That's the point I've been trying to make over the last week or so. He is getting pitches up in the zone, and the key to great hitting really is don't miss your pitch, and right now he's not. Rips it into the left field corner and sets the table for Giancarlo Stanton. Runners on second and third here in the first inning.
Now, Wilk was not setting the world on fire in Las Vegas. In fact, he's not having a good year in AAA. And so, you know, the Mets, when they made this move, simply said, hey, look, give us somebody who can pitch and who's on turn to pitch. And of course, the Mets had to make an emergency start with Rafael Montero on Friday night, so they kind of have used their long man. The Marlins have their long man starting this game in Jose Urena. And Stanton with a count 0-1 against Adam Wilk. Stanton drills it deep left field and upper tank. 3-run shot, and Miami leads it right out of the gates.
Well, for the Marlins, this is the response you were looking for here at the end of this road trip. So many things not going the Marlins' way. Great first inning. Great swing of the bat. You see it from behind. Giancarlo Stanton, similar to an airplane taking off. My goodness gracious, the acceleration, the velocity as that ball flies out. There's a man in the upper deck. He kind of came down to the front row trying to catch that. And the first thing I thought of was, man, get out of the way. That's going to hurt.
Rojas trying to bunt, pushes it foul. Stanton now with 9 homers. And of course, he homered last night to right center field. 19 now, as we've told you throughout this series. No one who is an opponent of the Mets has hit more homers in this ballpark than Giancarlo. Rojas fouls it back. Well, aside from Ozuna, the other hottest Marlin in terms of hits is Miguel Rojas. He's got a 5-game streak. He's 9 for 14 on this road trip.
And you see that batting average continue to climb. Now, we'll talk it a little differently here. Using the hands incredibly well. We're talking about backlegging baseballs like Marcell Ozuna. He's shooting balls the other way. How about this number? He's 3 for 5 on 0-2 pitches this year. Rojas has been just locked in, seeing the baseball, going up the middle, going the other way. Finds himself in the 5 spot in the lineup.
Rojas strikes out. Wilk gets his first punch out. And so there's 2 outs here in the first, and that brings up Derek Dietrich. Dietrich getting a start. Marlins would love to get his bat going. It's been a slow start. The combination of the ball club being 5 under 500 and all the outfielders being healthy, really the injury to Martin Prado, that has, for Don Mattingly, meant it's hard to have a game like this where you get some of the bench players in when you feel like, hey, ball club's got to win this ball game here to get back and rolling.
Well, one thing I know is this: he needs more of an opportunity in order to get going. He can't just get one start a week and get some of these tougher pinch hits. I mean, here's the other thing that gets lost in all of this because of the shorter bench. Dietrich is pulled some tough pinch hitting. Well, I call it pinch hitting. You know, when you double switch, it's not actually a pinch hit, but he comes into ball games, he ends up picking up some tough lefties at the end of games. So it's even tougher on him to kind of get into that rhythm that you're hoping to achieve as a guy, even as a bench player.
Set up on the outside parts. And that pitch just missed. And then you can see that pitch. Here's a look. Well, on the Fox tracks, the pitch was just outside of the box. 2-2. Dietrich, a liner to right. Bruce is in, and he makes the catch. But the Marlins are on the board in a big way. Giancarlo Stanton with a 3-run homer. 436 feet. First. Now remember, the Mets have been scoring runs as well, and a lot of them in this series. That guy's hot, Jose Reyes. Michael Conforto in the leadoff spot. It's brought to you by Southwest, by the way. TJ Rivera's hot. Jay Bruce is hitting balls out of the park. Neil Walker's had some big hits. Curtis Granderson's homered in this series. Reyes is averaged right around 200, but don't let that fool you. You see his last 11 games. Wilmer Flores is at third base. Rene Rivera, the catcher, and Adam Wilk hits ninth. As Asdrubal Cabrera is not in the lineup. Thumb injury. We'll give you some details in a moment.
Now you see Jose Urena there making his first start of the 2017 season. He's done this before. 15 and a third innings. Remember, he's been working in long relief, so all of his outings so far this year but one have been multiple inning outings. 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. You're going to see the fastball, the slider, been a very, very good pitch for him, as well as his changeup. Again, that fastball leads the way, has one of the highest fastball velocities this year at 96.5 miles an hour. But here's the thing, he's starting now, so we'll see if it doesn't just tick down a little bit, or does he come out and try to air it out all the way from the get-go.
Michael Conforto fires at a first pitch fastball. Now Conforto and the Mets in this run that they're on, and the Mets have brought themselves a game under 500. New York has won 6 of their last 8. They have been doing it early in the first inning. 3 leadoff homers for Conforto. He drives it left field. Ozuna should have room, does have room, and makes the catch. And the Mets have scored a first inning run in 6 consecutive games.
They've been getting things rolling offensively. I mean, that's just how good they've been as a unit, hitting over 300 over their last 8 ball games. So it hasn't just been the long ball for the Mets. They've been building. They've got a lot of hot hitters top to bottom of this lineup, including this guy right here, TJ Rivera, been swinging a very hot bat over the last 5 games.
This is another Met hitter that's been hot, and certainly the Mets have needed it with all their personnel on the disabled list. TJ Rivera He's hit in 5 straight. He's homered in this series and driven in 4. Kind of a versatile guy, can play a variety of spots. Born in the Bronx. Ended up playing his college ball down in Alabama at Troy. And Rivera sends it to left. Ozuna makes a catch. Defensively, here's Miami's lineup.
Here is your Marlins defense for today's ball game. Marcell Ozuna gets the start in left field as usual. Yelich and Stanton around the outfield. Rojas, Echeverria back at shortstop. D. Gordon, Dietrich over at first base. A.J. Ellis and Jose Urena on the mound. 5 pitches in, 2 outs already.
Jay Bruce, 9 home runs. He's knocked in 25. And his numbers kind of mirror what he did last year. Actually on a little bit better home run pace than he was last year. Had 8 home runs once the Mets acquired him in 169 at-bats. And the 9 homers have come in 110 at-bats.
I'll tell you what, Urena looks fantastic here in the first inning. You say, what are you talking about? He's only 8 pitches in. Just the willingness to go to the changeup and the slider already. Thinking that he's looking for length today. Thought there would be a lot of fastballs. Urena has done a fantastic job using all 3 of his pitches. 8 pitches into this ballgame.
Urena's been in the Marlins organization for the last 9 seasons, and parts of the last 3 years, including this year, he's been on the big league roster and had big league time. And an arm that the Marlins have always liked, and quite honestly have had to really protect in terms of he's out of options. They wanted him enough that, you know, going through spring training, that was always the thought. All right, he's out of options. Do we keep him? How do we use him? And he pitched well enough. That ball is in the corner and foul. That the middle relief role has really suited him. And as you pointed out, it's kind of like he's made mini starts for the Marlins. If you look at his innings pitched, 3 innings, 4 innings, 4 1/3, 2 innings his last time out against the Rays.
Well, he's technically been doing this. If you get more length from him today, I think that would be fantastic. But you're going into this hoping that Urena gives you his best no matter how long he can take those 80 or 90 pitches.
Well, a 1, 2, 3 innings, pretty good start. And he strikes out Jay Bruce to end the first. It's underway in New York. A Stanton homer. The difference is 3-0. Toyota brings you an inside look. All right, this season series The Marlins had won 5 of 7 coming into this 3-game set. Mets have won the first 2. Runs are pretty even. Marlins have hit the ball better. The Mets have slugged a little better. And the next time the Marlins will see the Mets in late June in Miami. That's your inside look, brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. This is an A.J. Ellis start. Ellis with Adeiny Echeverria and then Jose Urena.
Lost in the losing, particularly here in New York, is the fact that the Marlins have been pretty good about getting things done against Mets starters. Its starting pitching in this series has a 10.24 ERA. The bullpen a 1.93. So the bullpen's been a little bit more locked down than they had been. The starters have really struggled.
Adam Wilk struggled in the first. A walk to Yelich. A line drive double by Marcell Ozuna. And then a 438-foot second deck blast by Giancarlo Stanton. Ellis dive by Reyes, and he can't get it, and it's onto the outfield. Now that play reminds you of Asdrubal Cabrera last night on the wet ground. The Mets and the Marlins last night had a 39-minute rain delay. Here's a look at this.
Good swing right there. Stays on the slider as it tracks down in the zone. AJ does a good job of dropping his hands down to that slider and driving it back through the middle. Hit that ball hard. Reyes almost came up with it.
And of course, the Mets were obviously afraid of what they might find with the MRI with Cabrera. There are reports that the MRI is negative, and that it, in all likelihood, is a sprain. And so Cabrera, who last night was in incredible pain after the dive, came out of the game. That's good news, because the first thing you thought was maybe a break, and then the next thing you thought was maybe a tear. And so for a team looking for some good news, the Mets, it seemed, got a little bit with the Cabrera report.
They're running out of infielders. Their projected opening day lineup, you've got Neil Walker left out there. That's it.
This was the injury.
You see the rain coming down.
And watch the glove stick, and then he rolls over on it.
Watch his face. Yeah, great deal of pain.
Echeverria line drive into left field, and Miami's got runners first and second, and a significant hit for Echeverria, who's watched Rojas get most of the playing time on this road trip because of his hot bat. Echeverria is swinging the bat well.
Well, by no fault of his own. Rojas earned that playing time. Echeverria's had to wait, and he has been hitting hot as well. He hits in his last 3 starts. See right there, good extension, able to get through the left side.
And it sets up nicely for Urena with runners first and second. Mets infield looking bunt. Remember, you've got Ellis is the lead runner at second. Urena's bunt is absolutely perfect. Rivera's throw, and that was close.
Just beat that out.
It shows you what type of athlete Urena is. So a sacrifice. Miami is set up second and third with 1 out.
Did a fantastic job of getting this down. Didn't see him jab at it, just kind of caught it. Gets down the third base line and then hustles out of the box. Rivera had to pounce and make a strong throw. Get the speedy Urena.
So top of the order now, and the Marlins are going to try to chase home a run here. Got D. Gordon and then Christian Yelich. The Mets infield is halfway. And that probably speaks to the speed of Ellis at third more than anything. If you're looking for Matt Harvey and you just joined us, the Dark Knight has been suspended 3 games for a violation of team rules. The Mets did not announce what those rules were or what the violation was. Here's the 0-1. Little chopper, and that's going to hold Ellis at third base. And so Wilt gets an important out, and it's up to Yelich now.
right there. Wilkes stays inside on D. Gordon. 2 fastballs inside, went after him right there, and D struggled to get the barrel out. Was up with a ground ball to the right side, but not enough with that infield in to get a run home.
Yelich worked a walk, and that started things in the first. Ozuna then doubled, Stanton then homered. Second and third and 2 outs.
You see it right there. Wilk is a little different than your traditional lefty. He's willing to throw that changeup to a left-handed hitter. You see that very often, the willingness to do it. Typically, lefties, they want to go fastball, maybe variations to that fastball with the slider. Very rarely want to feature or show a changeup. Wilk has shown that changeup to Christian Yelich today already.
Ball and a strike to Yelich. Wilk is out of Anaheim, Southern California. Long Beach State. Great baseball power in the Big West Conference. We could talk about all the organizations he's been in, from the Tigers, who drafted him, to the Pirates, AAA there, the Angels, 1 game in the big league, AAA there, the Rays last year, AAA there in Durham. But in 2013, he was a Dino.
He was in the KBO.
Yes, in the Korean League, the NC Dinos. Yelich a bouncer. Rivera, Wilk is there, and he gets the outs. And the Marlins come up empty here in the seconds. 3-0 start for the Fish. Tomorrow is Salute and Serve Monday, and we invite those who serve to join us for a ball game. Active and retired U.S. military personnel, veterans, firemen, and police receive 2 complimentary tickets while showing their official service IDs at the Marlins Park ticket office. For more info, go to marlins.com/promotions. And of course, the Marlins are home tomorrow. It's an Adam Conley start. Carlos Martinez and the Cardinals will be waiting. Dan Straley, Adam Wainwright in Game 2, and Tom Kohler, Lance Lynn. All 3 games against the Cardinals, Monday through Wednesday, are 7:10 starts. Well, Martin Prado is in the ball game at third base. Miguel Rojas started and has left abruptly. So much so that Prado looks like he just took the coat off, hopped out there, threw some warm-up tosses.
Here we go.
And all of a sudden, his off day is over.
Better get it in gear quick. That's the sense that you have. It's happened to me a few times in my career. Not always fun, but sometimes you just kind of jump into the fire and things will go your way. Martin ready to go.
he's excited about this.
Yeah,
sometimes guys respond to this, don't they? I mean, you don't think you're playing, you're all relaxed, suddenly you got to go out there. Oof. And Urena comes in and hits Neil Walker. There have been 9 hitters hit in this series, and I've got to tell you, not once did it feel like anybody was throwing at anybody. To me, it felt like just bad pitching.
Yeah. Well, a lot of breaking balls, a couple, you know, down at the feet. Saw that last night. Some backdoor sliders that, I should say front door sliders, especially the righties and the lefties. And I don't think we've raised an eyebrow to anything that's been going on. I kind of had mentioned that number to you, I think about mid-game last night, and we weren't. I think we were surprised at the number of hit batters, but not that, you know, nobody's really taken exception to it.
I think the eyebrows that are raised, Prado back over at third, the eyebrows that have been raised have been, for Miami, just control and the lack thereof. Down the right field line, and that's foul. The Marlins have walked, as a pitching staff, 130 batters. Next closest in the National League is 124 by Cincinnati. If you want to make it even more painful, Juan Nieves yesterday told us that he's lectured his pitchers on being more aggressive, make sure they beat you by swinging the bat. Urena misses down low, but the Marlins have 9 walks with the bases loaded. And that is above and beyond anybody else in Major League Baseball. 9 bases loaded walks.
Saw a bunch of those last night.
And by 9 different pitchers.
Yeah.
Texas with 5 is second in the big leagues. To right, Stanton is there. And he makes the catch. That one climbing as he backpedals. Timeout for Unlimited Baseball. Hey, it's an Unlimited Baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. 9 hit by pitch. The club record is 9, so it's been tied. It was done twice. And it's a series record as well. Major League 3-game series record is 10. I would have thought that would be higher, right?
You'd think, especially when you factor in intent. That usually ends up going.
Reyes pops it up. Echeverria is there and he makes the catch. I would have thought the Red Sox Orioles series would have been more, but now that you think of it, there were a lot of guys missing hitters when they threw.
Well, they're throwing behind and over and under, and yeah, there was a lot of nonsense going on in that series.
So a nice comeback for Urena after hitting Walker to get Granderson and Reyes. And here is Wilmer Flores.
That's the composure. That's the focus that I've been picking up with Urena so far this year. Unfazed by things, and that's a good place to be. I kind of referenced that last outing where he pitched out of the bullpen in the Pittsburgh series, gave up 12 hits. Never started steering off the plate, you know, like he was afraid of contact. I mean, that's what you want to see. His stuff is good. Big league hitters, they're going to get their hits, but you've got to continue to attack the strike zone. And conversation we just had about all these walks. Urena is the one, to me, who's really stood out as far as attacking the strike zone consistently this year.
That was an odd appearance against Pittsburgh. 4 1/3 innings, 12 hits, 2 runs. Slow roller. Prado gets to shake those legs a little bit. We'll try to get you an update on Miguel Rojas as well. It's 3-0 Miami. Giancarlo Stanton in a 3-run homer. That was back in the first. It wasn't against Matt Harvey. It's against Adam Wilk. Harvey scheduled to start, suspended by the Mets for 3 games without pay. And the Mets would not disclose the reason, a violation of team rules. But look, this is a day and age, and certainly the New York media will do their due diligence, and I'm sure we'll hear in the next day or two some of the details. Here's Ozuna, and he takes down low. More importantly for Miami is just getting a win and stopping this run that has seen them plummet to 5 under at 12-17. Ozuna smacked a double down the left field line and takes a strike there. It's 1-1.
Yeah, nobody really cares how they come up with a win right now. Just come up with a win. Tough road trip. Only 1 win on this trip so far.
Whew. Everything he hits is hard. And Ozuna lines out. And here comes Stanton.
We talked about not missing your pitch. Marcell Ozuna on it again today. 2 at-bats against Wilkes. 2 rockets.
Stanton now infield has shifted. And Wilmer Flores, the third baseman for the Mets, is playing about as deep as you can as a third baseman, which isn't a bad idea with Stanton up against this lefty. Of course, against lefties, Stanton doesn't wear the protective flap over that left cheek. And you wonder what's going through Wilkes' mind. He was not having a good year in AAA, and in 24 hours he gets a phone call. Now he's facing Stanton after hitting a 438-foot bomb to left.
What's that guy thinking? Getting in the way of that.
2-2, which is in. We count now 3-2. Does he stay with that fastball or the breaking ball?
Well, he probably is going to change up. I think that's the pattern that we've seen against Stanton in this series. Don't let him see back-to-back similar pitches. Yeah, there's a breaking ball.
Wow! To left and deep. Look out! Giancarlo with another missile. 2 homers in the game, and that one nearly went right through the glass of the restaurant in left field. Your order is here.
Look at that look on his face. Yeah, he jumped all over that breaking ball, and sometimes not falling into a pattern is a pattern, as we talked about. Not throwing him back-to-back fastballs, kind of working those, working back and forth between the changeup, the curveball, and the fastball. You see the curveball right there, all over it. You see the girl on the other side of the glass,
yeah,
stunned.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that glass is going to hold. Well, I know it's probably pretty thick.
I'm sure it hasn't been tested too many times.
113 miles an hour off the bat. 468 feet is the distance. And that's calculated by StatCast as to how far the home run would have gone had it not hit the glass. So the Marlins have hit a couple of 466 was Ozuna's in St. Pete. 468 is Stanton here. And here's Prado in his first at bat. Prado came in for Miguel Rojas, and we're still efforting to find word on Rojas and why he came out of the game. As you look at the crowd and listen to them, you can hear them and see them all discussing what they just saw. And probably in somewhat amazement.
There's always that stunned silence when he gets into one. Everybody kind of gets quiet to watch, and then they start talking about it afterward, as he is right now and should be. That's 900 feet of hits so far today.
438, 468. Walker backpedaling into the outfield. Makes the catch. Watch and listen. A light rain is starting to fall here in New York.
It's appropriate.
It's kind of been with us for both games here. Dietrich, a liner in center field. And Derek Dietrich with a 2-out hit.
A couple of nice at-bats for Dietrich. Lined out to right his first at-bat on a 3-2 pitch. Base hit back through the box this time. Against the lefty. Good to see.
That was an 0 for 11 for Dietrich. Here's Ellis. He singled back in the second inning. A.J. Ellis. Of course, longtime Dodger. His first year with Miami. The work that Ellis puts into every game is pretty impressive. He is going to make a very good pitching coach or manager if that's what he wants to do when he's done. Because he prepares his own scouting report. He is an incredible resource for JT Realmuto. And certainly, I'm sure, for Juan Nieves, a help in preparing pitchers to face opponents.
Just got a report in on Miguel Rojas. Left today's game with a right thumb soreness, listed as day-to-day. Or if it was from that at bat.
Could be a lingering problem that was aggravated by a foul ball. Rojas struck out in the first. Ellis fouls it at the plate. Cardinals come to town tomorrow night.
They're wrapping up a series in Atlanta.
Ellis, diving catch. Flores robs him of a hit. But the Marlins get one more. 468 more feet for Stanton. He's got 2 homers. Giancarlo home runs accounting for those 4. And this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted. It's nice to see that family's meal is back to normal after the Stanton home run. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Back to work, Jose Urena. In the bottom of the 3rd, Rene Rivera, Adam Wilk, and then Michael Conforto. Ureñas looked sharp. The lone bump was a breaking ball that he yanked and hit Neil Walker in the shin.
Did that to start the 2nd inning, but recovered. Next 3 guys out. Continue to see that aggressiveness. A lot of talk, certainly in this Mets series, about the number of walks the Marlins have been issuing to hitters this season. Urena has been immune to that conversation. He's really done a nice job. Only 3 walks in 17+ innings.
Prado has it, gathers himself, and fires to first. And there's 1 out. This game has an inordinate amount of news about it, from the Harvey.
We're only in the 3rd.
Harvey suspension to Wilk getting here from Albuquerque, pitching for Las Vegas. That's where the 51s were playing, the Las Vegas 51s. Into the bats. Prado on to first in time. And we check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey, Rich, back-to-back home runs for Giancarlo Stanton, but would you expect anything less? He says he loves hitting the ball here at Citi Field.
It's got a good backdrop and a good atmosphere, really. So I feel like when I first, my first couple of years, it's always like you're in New York, you know, everything's, you know, big city, brighter lights, you know, everything. So nothing I can really attest to it, but a good backdrop, and, you know, got to make sure you're locked in.
And guys, unbelievable. Those 20 home runs at Citi Field, the most by a visiting player at this ballpark.
Yeah, and he has. We need to, that's one of the things we need to do, is get an updated list on the longest home runs at Citi Field, because my guess is that Stanton has 3 of the top 4. He talks about when he was a young player, when he was a Florida Marlin, he hit a ball up to the right side past the apple in center on a cold, damp night that at the time was the longest home run in Citi Field history. About 3/4 of the way up on that right side is where it landed. And I believe it was last year he hit a ball up into the second deck in left center field, and not left center towards left, but left center towards center. That I want to say was in the 470 range.
I don't want to steer this story. I certainly love talking about Giancarlo Stanton home runs and distance and length and velocity. I'm going to skip ahead a few months, and I'm looking forward to Stanton and Aaron Judge going head-to-head in the home run derby.
That's a lot of size and a lot of muscle, and a really nice changeup from Jose Urena. 4-0 Miami. Marlins Live gets you ready for the Cardinals and the Fish tomorrow. It's brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini. It's an Adam Conley start. Cardinals, of course, very familiar to people in South Florida with their spring training site in Jupiter. Let's see Cardinal fans there. Echeverria takes down low. Medaney getting the start at shortstop. We were talking about all the news surrounding this game. And the news started about a week ago with the blister of Edinson Volquez. Echeverria, left field, deep. I don't believe it. Adeiny Echeverria snaps a long, long homerless game drought by blasting one into the seats in left center field.
Talk about keeping yourself ready while you get a couple of days off. Rojas taking the turn out at shortstop first 2 games of this series. That's waiting for his chance to get back in the lineup. Picks up his 6th hit on this road trip. And it is a huge one.
His last home run was almost a year ago. It was in May against the Rays in St. Pete on the 26th of May.
Great extension right there. Fastball up in the zone. No doubter. I believe Echeverria had the longest streak of at-bats going at the major league level since his last home run, I believe.
Well, that's why we have Mitch Smith here, our baseball historian, just to double check all the.
He's working on it.
All the stuff that we throw out. he's sort of like the ombudsman of.
Well, you know, it's one of those stats that I saw, 7 or 10 days ago, and I kind of was holding it, holding it, holding it. I got tired of holding it, so I let it go. Now I need it.
So 3 home runs for the Marlins, 2 for Stanton, 1 for Echeverria. That one fouled back. Well, for Adam Wilk, making this emergency start for the Mets. Like we said, he was not having a great year in AAA. Urania strikes out, and that's the first out. And it hasn't gone well for him here. Celebrate Mother's Day at Marlins Park on Sunday. Bring the family to see the Fish and the Braves at 1:10. Aquafina family 4-pack. Get you 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's all beef hot dogs, 4 Pepsi soft drinks or Aquafina waters, and starts at just $84. Enjoy family fun, celebrate Mother's Day. Marlins.com/promotions or Marlins.com for tickets.
Well, Rich, let's be honest, somebody had to pay. Whether it was going to be Matt Harvey today or Wilk. Almost sense here in the first half of this ball game a lot of frustration kind of being released.
D. Gordon is lined out and bounced out. Of course, that's just part of the frustration. A big part of the frustration is on the mound. And what the Mets have done against the Marlins in this series.
Well,
and so that's the other half of it. And so far, Jose Urania has picked up his end of it.
Well, in my opinion, that's the biggest part of it. I mean, I love, who doesn't love to see the home runs? But through this entire series, we watched the Marlins out-hit the Mets. We've seen Ozuna lining balls all over the place. We've seen Stanton go deep. The pitching has really been the biggest question mark here on this road trip, and certainly over about the last week. And Urania has settled in, and he's pounding the strike zone. He's getting the defense off the field quick. We've talked about that as well. It's funny how integral that is to the game, but gets talked about so little when you're walking hitters and putting a lot of traffic out there. I mean, we talked about time of possession last night. It was like the Marlins were barely hitting. They barely had a chance to hit because there was a lot of defense and there was a lot of pitches being thrown. Today, it's been the complete opposite.
Gordon rolls a ground ball to the right of Rivera. Wilk to the bag in time. And there's 2 outs here. And Christian Yelich coming up. Yeah, look, I mean, the news cycle started with Volquez blister, so this would be an Urania starts. Chen, of course, sent back, and the news on Chen seems to be pretty positive. Marlins are hopeful that when he's eligible to come off, he'll be able to make his next start. And then the Cabrera injury last night. You had the Syndergaard start on Friday that wasn't because of the lat tear. Now Harvey gets suspended going into today. Marlins have lost Rojas, at least temporarily, with a soreness in that thumb. He's come out of the game.
Despite all the news, good or bad, pro-Marlin, anti-Met, Marlins need a win. This has just been a tough stretch. There's been different things, and I think last night was, I don't want to call it the breaking point, but when I saw for the first time with my eyes the defense breakdown, I'd watched, I dare use the word perfect defense all season long. It was the one thing that kind of withstood everything that was being thrown out there, whether it was the pitching or sometimes that lack of hitting. The defense had always been there, and then you had the defense breakdown last night. Felt like it might have been the toughest loss of the season.
Yelich cranks one to center. Granderson giving chase, not going to get it, goes to the wall, and Christian Yelich has his second double. Granderson drops it, Yelich puts it into gear, and he arrives at third base. So it's going to be a double and an error on Granderson.
Look at this breaking ball again. Christian Yelich on it all the way, stays through it, drives it over Curtis Granderson's head. He goes up to the wall to field it and just has a hard time picking it up 2 to 3 different times. Come on now. Christian Yelich able to get all the way over to third base, even taking it the conservative approach. Just couldn't get that ball off the ground.
And that's going to be it for Adam Wilk. So Wilk in an emergency start. He was in AAA yesterday, thrust into the spotlight. The Marlins have 5 runs. Rainy, kind of chilly day. The Marlins have busted out with 3 homers, 2 by Giancarlo Stanton. A rude greeting for Adam Wilk, and a guy that Miami saw last night. Paul Sewald is in, and Sewald will take over. So from lefty to righty, and he arrives with Yelich at third and 2 outs. Marcell Ozuna, who has doubled and lined out. Sewald, big right-hander, and he can rush it up there and gets a strike.
You see 91, 92 miles an hour on that fastball about 70% of the time. Does have a pretty decent slider to go along with it. It's his mechanics that might throw you off. Watch, he's a drop and drive guy. Watch that back elbow. See how he kind of stays down a la Addison Reed. Very similar approach right there.
Addison Reed's had a lot of success with that delivery, a little crossfire action that he has.
I believe Sewald would take that same level of success.
Yes, he would. Sewald last night 2 scoreless innings.
Marcell Ozuna wants to have the baseball checked out.
You don't see that very often. Mike Everett kind of shows it to him and says, hey, look at it.
Well, you have the right to ask as a hitter. You just don't, you know, you kind of, it's funny. As many times I thought about it, but I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to stop the game.
Well, Ozuna's thinking is this. Sewald's, here's the pitch. Sewald went down to his knee to tie his shoe. That one gets away. Yelich is coming home, and he's going to score. And Miami picks up run number 6. And so a nice one to get here in the 4th.
And I see Rivera slide over, but by the time he gets that glove down, it was already through his legs. It hits that backstop. It's funny, it's a shorter backstop here at Citi Field, but there's the difference is that sometimes it hits that brick wall and it comes back. It hits the sign, it kind of just dies right there, and Yelich scores easily.
It's a great move by Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, to kick the mask out of the way. Ozuna, a sharp grounder. Flores fires it across in time. But Adeiny Echeverria homers, and then Christian Yelich scores on a wild pitch, and now it's 6-0. For the Mets. This is a real nice cushion for Jose Urena, but I'll bet everybody in a Marlins uniform is thinking back to Friday night when the Marlins had a 7-1 lead. Everything was clicking. Tom Kohler was on the mound, and the Mets all of a sudden, little by little, and then with a big inning, overtook the Marlins and won that game by a score of 8-7.
Well, you play with a sense of urgency even here in the 4th inning. You need a win. We've talked about it many times already today, how desperately this Marlins team needs to get back on the winning side of things. As Christian Yelich was coming across on that wild pitch, I was thinking just that. Continue to score runs, continue to be aggressive. You're not changing your game plan right now with a 6-run lead here in the 4th.
Bouncer, Prado fires to first. Dietrich makes the catch and gets out of the way of TJ Rivera. And I guess now we should talk more about Urena, right? A lot of this has been Stanton, Echeverria, who went 417 at bats without a home run before popping one. But it's Urena right now. who has an out here in the 4th. The Mets searching for their first hit. And a one-hopper. Dietrich has it. Gets to the bag. He's filling up the strike zone, and that's a welcome sight for Juan Nieves and for Don Mattingly.
Well, I made a note. The very first inning, about 8 pitches through, I said he's thrown all 3 of his pitches already into this ball game. That there is no doubt. This wasn't about coming out and establishing fastball command and going out there and hitting the corners and working in your secondary pitches as you work your way down the lineup. His whole goal was to get all 3 of his pitches working early, that changeup working, that slider working, and you see it right there. First pitch strikes to 10 of 12. He has been aggressive. He's been out making pitches and getting ahead of hitters.
So 2 ground ball outs here in the 4th. Neil Walker was hit by a pitch, and that's the only base runner the Mets have had, and he nearly gets hit there as Urena pulls that fastball in.
See right there, with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning, he's only at 37 pitches. Welcome sight.
Marlins' next off day is until Thursday, a 3-gamer with the Cardinals. The Braves are in next weekend. And then a really fun team to watch is coming in at the end of the homestand. That's the Houston Astros.
Hoping they will have cooled off by the time we see them in a little over a week.
Walker to right. Stanton going back even further. And in the middle of the warning track, he makes the catch. And Jose Urena, 4 very clean innings. 6-0 Miami. Baseball on Sundays that have chores or stuff to do around the house and come in and out of the games. And the smart fan is in right now because here's Stanton, and he's hit 2 long homers. Now that was against the lefty Adam Wilk. This is Paul Sewald, whom Stanton faces now. 438 feet in the first. 468 feet. Cody Ross, the last to hit 3 in a game, and it was against the Mets, and Stanton gets jammed, and a broken bat looper is out to Walker. And we go down to Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey, Rich, one thing the Mets and the Marlins have in common, they have outfields that can drive in runs. In fact, the Marlins lead Major League Baseball as far as RBIs by outfielders with 64. But take a look at who is right behind them. That would be the Mets, along with teams like the Yankees, the Reds, and the Nationals. And Giancarlo Stanton, we just saw his at bat, but already 4 RBIs for Stanton in this game, adding to that total.
All right, thank you, Jess. And the Marlins outfield has been healthier than the Mets. but both outfields in terms of home runs and RBIs have been very, very productive. Now this is Prado. If you're in and out of this game, you saw the starting lineups. You saw Miguel Rojas hitting 5th. Rojas left the game with a sore thumb. He's listed as day-to-day, and Prado has popped back in what was to be a day off for him. And if you missed the Stanton home runs, you might want to, during a timeout, just go to MLB.com, Marlins.com, and take a look at them. Both were fun to watch. We'll show them to you as well as the day goes along. Prado is thrown out.
I want to see the Echeverria home run.
The Echeverria. Now look,
that doesn't happen as often.
We've got more information on Echeverria's home run now. We told you he'd gone 417 at bats without a homer, and that ends the streak. And we thought it was the longest streak active because Pete Kozma had been designated for assignment. But we have discovered that Kozma has been signed by the Rangers and is back in the big leagues. And so Kozma's run of 538 at bats without a home run was ahead of Echeverria's, and Etches is no more.
Duly noted.
All right, you asked for it. There you
Thank
go.
you, T-Mac. You don't get to do this very often. Look at that elevated fastball. How did he? I think he had the bat flip on hold as well. A little bat flip there. That's all good. Great swing of the bat right there. And again, ton of credit.
Dietrich, who has swung the bat well today, around first, will hold there, and the throw behind him, and he's just back in. Love how Dietrich takes that aggressive turn at first.
Always thinking about taking the extra base. It's certainly what you want to see. He thinks that way. That's how he plays. That's part of his game. That's part of his package. He's got to be careful, though, on that little back throw. Bruce tried to get him leaning. And we'll see it one more time. He comes hard around first base, but ready to go back in. Even picks the right corner right there to shoot for and gets back in safely. Picks up his second knock of the afternoon.
A.J. Ellis is singled. He's lined out. So some really good at bats. Obviously, Adam Wilk a little bit overwhelmed in his first start in the big league since 2012, but it kind of continues what the Marlins have done in the series in terms of swinging the bats. Now yesterday they didn't produce a lot of runs, but they out-hit the Mets, and they had 7 runs on 13 hits on Friday night.
Well, we were trying to find, cause and effect for the lineup configuration even today. Yelich moves up to the 2 spot, Ozuna, then you've got Dietrich, Ellis, and Echeverria obviously in there. Etch plays an awful lot, but Dietrich getting a start, Ellis getting a start. Here's the thing, when you're not rolling well and you're not winning ball games, change for change's sake can be a good thing. When you see it today, I'll take it a step farther. Ellis and Dietrich haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to play here lately. They've had some really nice at-bats. This is the good thing that comes out of a ball game like this. Dietz 3 quality at-bats, a line drive his first time up, and then 2 base hits. A.J. Ellis lined out to third his last time, along with another base hit.
So the Marlins and the Mets in this series both had 2 starting pitchers down. Syndergaard with the lat tear was supposed to go Friday. Montero in his place. Harvey was supposed to throw today. He was suspended. That one fouled back to the screen. Harvey suspended 3 games for a violation of team rules. And the Marlins were supposed to have Wei-Yin Chen go yesterday and Edinson Volquez go today. The news on both Chen and Volquez is that when their 10 days is up, and of course the DL this year is a 10-day DL, that they should be able to make their next starts. Ellis lifts it behind first. Rivera and Walker. It is Walker who makes the catch in foul territory. Halfway through here in New York. 6-0 Miami. Here's a little taste of what you've missed. The 2 Stanton home runs. The pin guy here in New York, even impressed by a 468-foot homer off the facing of the restaurant down the left field line. Curtis Granderson against Jose Urena. What's not to like about Urena through his 4 innings? An economy of pitches, a couple strikeouts, 1 hit batter. Yelich makes the catch. No walks, which I'm sure makes Juan Nieves ecstatic, Marlins pitching coach. And the Mets so far do not have a hit. They use your pitch count by inning.
Yeah, look at the efficiency. 12 in the first. That's the high right now, for crying out loud. He's in the 5th inning already. Making pitches, staying aggressive. That's been the key to Urena. As I said a little earlier, the best part about this is it's not as if he's just been blowing his fastball by people at 95, 96, living on the corners. He's using his slider well, mixing in his changeup. There's another one right there.
Reyes pops it up. Ellis gives way to Prado. Prado makes the play. In support of Mental Health Month this May, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with NAMI, N-A-M-I, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, and their commitment to replacing stigma with hope and improving the lives of families and those affected by mental health conditions. Learn more about how to be stigma-free and visit foxsportsupports.com. Flores takes a strike. Wilmer Flores is bounced into a fielder's choice. The other thing that's impressive about Urena, he's worked quickly. Really good tempo.
I wasn't sure you were going to get the read in.
Yes. Flores knew that. That's why he stepped out.
Yeah. Saw it was one of the longer reads this afternoon, and I was afraid that Flores got in there the way these innings have been going. Might not get the whole thing in.
Busted bats, Echevarria and Jose Urena, 5 no-hit innings to start his day here in New York. And look at the line for the Mets. No runs, no hits. And the Fish right now riding 3 home runs, 2 by Giancarlo Stanton, 1 by Adeiny Echevarria, who stands in here. It's helped them to a 6-0 lead. The other run scored on a wild pitch. Christian Yelich came galloping in from third. And Echeverria is in a nice run offensively. We talked about the road trip that he's had and the numbers that he's put up. 6 for 11 on the trip. Sewald gets a strike. You can hear home plate umpire Mike Everett saying no, that's out. Two balls, two strikes. Echeverria doing a much better job with 2 strikes on him this year. Mitch Smith, our baseball historian, noting he's a .360 hitter with 2 strikes this year. In his career, 189.
No, that speaks to the approach.
But a swing and a miss there, and down he goes.
You can't go up there swinging big every time and thinking that with 2 strikes you're going to end up with good numbers unless you shorten up, use your hands, and use the whole field. That's doing a much better job of that this year, just not in that at bat. Jose Urena. Beautiful sacrifice bunt earlier in the ballgame. Masterful job on the mound.
Looking for a hit.
He's looking for something right there. He's letting it go.
And Sewald finishes him off. Cold hard fact brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Two shows in town. Yankees Mets, best city records going. Yankees and Mets with the especially with the Mets little surge they've had here, better than the Chicago, Los Angeles quartet. And better than the Giants and the Athletics. The Giants not holding their end of the bargain. Fastball away there. Gordon is 0 for 3. This was an Adam Wilk start. The Marlins knocked him around. All 3 of the home runs off of the lefty. Sewald came in and got an out in the 4th. Gave up a single in the 5th. And has 2 outs here in the 6th.
I've seen how this Mets team has pitched. D. Gordon really staying in on his hands.
He's out. Mike Everett on the call in a 1-2-3 inning for Sewald. Marlins up in New York. 6-0. D. Gordon, well, with 2 strikes, and of course the rule is if you bunted a ball or swing at it and it hits you, it's still a strike. This is the look from behind the mound. Gordon never really argued, and you could see the bat went far enough that you would think that would be a swing.
Yeah, the unfortunate part of that is you'd almost see those hands coming through and maybe extending out because he's trying to get out of the way of the baseball, that slider.
Jam shot, and Rivera dumps it into left field. And that's the first hit for the Mets here, and it comes to lead off the 6th inning. And so the Mets have a base runner, only their 2nd base runner against Urena. And here is Seawalds, who takes the at-bat here in the 6th inning. And this is an illustration that Terry Collins needs some more innings out of Seawald, that he's up here bunting.
Well, he's up here at all, really, I think, is to your point. Seawald staying in the game. And with Rivera over at first base, this is your favorite situation here. Catcher on first.
Yes.
Pitcher bunting.
Popped up, Dietrich has it, turns, fires, and safe at first with Gordon coming from behind. Yeah, that's one of the reasons Terry Collins, when Rivera has caught, has hit him in the 9 spot.
A little too hard on the bunt right there by Seawald. Dietrich able to come in and make that catch rather simply. Too much barrel on that one.
Here is Conforto. By the way, there are different sources in terms of length of home runs. StatCast is one that we use. Hit Tracker Online is another one that you reference. They both use different technology. And so in trying to figure out Stanton's homer and where it sits in Citi Field history is a little bit problematic. According to Hit Tracker Online, the one he hit against Jacob deGrom last year was 470 to left center. With the shift on, Gordon gets one out, fires to first, and throws it away. It stays in play. Conforto racing to second, and he's in there. The Marlins had a shift on, and that's what can happen in a shift when you get a ground ball and you've got guys in spots they're not used to being in.
You end up having to make spectacular plays. D. Gordon tries to make a spectacular play here. You see the throw up the line. Conforto able to get all the way into second base. A.J. Ellis wisely holds on to that one right there, but that's it. I mean, D. Gordon simply was trying to make a spectacular play and got the first part of it down, but that throw had a lot of momentum going away from second base right there, unable to straighten it out on its way to first.
It's another infield error for Miami. Those have been pretty rare this year. It's T.J. Rivera. In fact, the Marlins made 3 errors last night. They still, coming into play today, led the National League in fielding percentage with just a dozen errors in 29 games. Count 2-0 to Rivera, who's flied out and bounced out.
Last 4 innings, single digits. And pitches thrown. Not only does that show you the efficiency of Urena, it also shows you how hard it is to hit him.
Breaking ball. Count 2-1.
If you're a Mets hitter right now, even in a 6-0 ball game, you're not sitting on anything. I mean, you yourself into Rivera's shoes right there. You're ahead. You get a runner on second base. You're losing 6-0. You get Urania on the mound. 2-0 count. You're thinking, I'm getting a 95 to 96 mile an hour fastball right here, and he throws an 85 mile an hour slider for a strike. It's locked in.
No swing. And a 3-1 count. Jay Bruce is on deck. Michael Conforto at second. And a good pitch there. It's 3-2. And here comes Bruce, and I don't think anybody that saw Friday night's game, including Juan Nieves, needs to be reminded that it can all change with one swing. Even a 6-run lead can change dramatically. And especially against the Mets, and especially in this ballpark. The Mets came from 6 down to beat the Marlins on Friday night. The last time they had come from 6 down to win a game was against the Marlins in this park last year on the 4th of July. Jay Bruce has struck out, bounced out. A running fastball is outside. Marlins and Cardinals tomorrow night. Cardinals right now a game over 500 and shutting out Atlanta in Atlanta 4-0 in the 5th.
Washington Nationals up 1-0 over the Phillies in the first inning already.
14 pitches in this inning. That's the most he's thrown in any inning. Ellis and Urania using the gloves to shield their face.
Walkie-talkies.
Baseball legend has it that it was Greg Maddux that started that because of a home run he gave up, and he thought maybe someone was reading his lips from the mound. There's the 2-1. Took something off.
That's his changeup right there, right about 88, 89. It kind of masks itself because he does throw so hard, and we talk about that separation all the time, but this is his changeup right here. It's an 88, 89 mile an hour. Got a little depth to it, a little movement down in the zone, but enough to mess hitters up.
To left, Ozuna in there and makes the catch. And the Mets 6th and 7th inning coming up. Jose Urania shutting out the Mets. Florida is brought to you by Jeep. Get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance events. By Supercuts, save time. Check in online with our mobile app or at supercuts.com. And by your South Florida Chevy dealer. Well, you can see the rain. Some fans have scurried up into the concourse areas to stay dry. Good Sunday crowd here and a 6-0 lead for the Marlins. Christian Yelich takes fastball for a strike. Yelich banged a double off the wall in center his last time up. Scored on a wild pitch. He's bounced out and walked. Scored a couple runs. And of course, the other part of the newsy day, the Marlins lineup tinkered with. Yelich in the 2 spot. Ozuna hitting 3rd. Oh, and 2.
See the commitment to the lineup change today, and good to see some of the production. I'm sure that manager Don Mattingly was tempted to find a way to get JT Realmuto in there today, as hot as he's been. Sometimes you just kind of stick with the bench squad. You give them an opportunity to kind of make some things happen, and I think that's just the point of where the Marlins have been over this stretch of baseball games where winning has been hard to come by and a lot of things have been going wrong. You just kind of open it up, you throw the numbers away a little bit, just kind of let your bench players get some opportunities.
Yelich strikes out. 2017 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here, and it's your chance to choose your favorite Marlins players. Send them to the All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 11th right here in Miami. Marlins.com/vote. Of course, that game is on Fox on July 11th. Ozuna shoots a liner to right, and it's going to fall for a hit. Second hit for Ozuna.
Why not?
He's got 7 in this 3-game series. And here comes Stanton.
Even his outs have been rockets today. Takes a fastball right there and chooses to go stay inside that ball and shoot it to right field. Tells you how hot Ozuna has been. Now Sewald struck out 4 consecutive hitters to Ozuna. Jumps on the first fastball that he likes and gets himself another base hit.
Breaking ball is a strike. All right, let's put Stanton's home run into perspective. 468 feet off the restaurant and left. Remember, he had those 2 games last year here in New York where he hit 4 homers and they were all mammoth shots. Pitch misses out. Stanton last year on the 5th and the 6th of July against Steven Matz, 436. Eric Goodell, 424. Jacob deGrom, 430. Jacob deGrom, 470. Swing and a miss, and the throw down. Ozuna is back in. The home run that he hit in 2011, which was to the right of the apple, at the time the longest in Citi Field history, on a wet, cold night, 465. And he strikes out here. Paul Sewald picking up strikeouts here. 5 strikeouts in the last 6 hitters he's faced.
Yeah, only Ozuna, and who can blame him for not being able to get Ozuna out? I mean, Ozuna is hitting anybody right now, and I'd still bet on Ozuna just about against anybody in the game. He's been swinging such a hot bat. Sewald has settled in. Terry Collins, and for the Mets, have been able to provide some length. Adam Wilkes struggles. These 2 managers were kind of hit with the same situation coming into this series. Injuries, and obviously the Matt Harvey suspension. put both managers in a position to lean on their bullpens and to lean on the depth of the organization in order to get through this weekend. David Feltz up in the Marlins bullpen. Sewald pitched in last night's ball game. He's thrown another 50 pitches today.
Yeah, a couple innings last night.
Yeah.
Foul back. Now, some reports are starting to filter out about Matt Harvey and the suspension. Our Ken Rosenthal of Fox Sports and MLB Network has tweeted, a source close to Harvey says he had a migraine and cited possible communication issue with the Mets. The team evidently saw it differently. Terry Collins and Jay Horowitz, who's the PR director of the Mets, they've had a really trying year at times. That was the move this morning. The Mets started that in motion last night when they called the AAA team and informed them they needed Adam Wilk here to pitch. Of course, the vice president general manager of the Mets is Sandy Alderson, a guy that doesn't mess around, a Marine who saw combat duty, and I guess that's the best way to put it. He does not mess around. Right through the legs of Sewald, and Prado has a hit.
This piece of hitting by Martin Prado going right back through the middle. It's a fastball to his liking. Picks up his first hit of the day since entering the ball game back in the third. It's always a good feeling when you get a little ambushed on the bench. Able to get out there and contribute. Brings up Derek Dietrich. 2 for 3 on the afternoon. Lined out his other at bat. Very nice at bats. So that batting average starting to go up.
In addition to that Ken Rosenthal tweet on MLB.com, they are reporting that Fox Sports has reported that Harvey did not report to Citi Field for Saturday night's game, prompting the suspension. Dietrich, liner, left field, and it's over the head of Conforto, and it goes to the wall. Ozuna will score. Prado is limping into third, and that's not a good sign. Dietrich has a double, and it looks like Prado may have done something. Boy, the Marlins have lost Rojas already, and he's holding that hamstring. Remember, he was on the disabled list for almost a month with the hamstring injury at the World Baseball Classic. And then he aggravated a calf up in Seattle.
One thing.
Here's a look.
Yeah, let's take a look at it one more time. Hustling hard around second base. Watch his face. Yep, right there. And feels it. Tries to shut it down. He makes his way into third base. Is that it's all connected, whether it's the calf and the hamstring. Those are all obviously very much related, and if there's anything in there that's just off, even just a little bit, you're vulnerable top to bottom.
And that does not look good as he goes down the stairs. So Rojas, it was a sore thumb. Prado will be headed down into the training room. Justin Bohr will come in to run. Nice day by Dietrich. He's got 3 hits. And the out that he made was a loud line drive as well. Ellis up. 7-0 Miami. with 2 outs. Ellis has singled in 3 trips. And so the fact that the Marlins are getting a great start from Jose Urena, right now a 1-hit shutout. They've had 2 homers from Giancarlo Stanton. Echeverria's homered for the first time in about a year. And yet Rojas has gone out with a sore thumb. And now Prado leaves.
I wonder if this weather has had anything to do with Prado in particular. It is chilly here, rainy. Was supposed to take today off.
Yeah, that's the other part of that, isn't it? Swing and a miss. Ellis strikes out. Rivera picks it up, fires to first in time to get the outs. Miami gets a run on a Dietrich double, and Jose Urena goes back out. You missed it. This is Giancarlo Stanton. This is a 2-run homer. It's 438 feet. That's impressive, right? Not so fast. That's 468 off the restaurant. This is Danny Echeverria. First homer in 417 at-bats. That's the offense for the Fish. Jose Urena has been marvelous. A 1-hit shutout, though he's coming out of the game. We'll give you details in a moment. Let's go down to Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Rich, tomorrow the Marlins will kick off their series against the Cardinals. It's going to be Adam Conley on the mound for the Fish. Now, just a couple of days ago, we got a sneak peek at the Adam Conley bobblehead that's going to be given away on September 30th. That's a game against the Braves. It's Adam Conley as a stormtrooper. Now, I talked to Conley about that bobblehead the other day, and he said, you know me, I'm not really one for accolades, but I have to admit, when I found out that I was going to get my own bobblehead, I thought it was pretty cool. He's already had a ton of requests from friends back at home that want one of those bobbleheads. I love it. I think it looks great.
It's pretty slick. That's pretty slick. Yeah. Stormtrooper? How about that?
If you were going to be a Star Wars bobblehead, who would you be?
Lando Calrissian, coolest guy in the galaxy.
That'd be Boba Fett. I like Boba Fett.
So much going on in this ball game. Obviously, the Matt Harvey suspension. The Marlins have done a terrific job offensively. There's David Phelps. Jose Urena making his first start of the season. Marlins stretching him out as far as they could. How about 6 shutout innings and just 1 hit from Urena?
Yeah, that was a broken bat, base hit by Rivera. Just absolutely dominant, efficient, used all of his pitches. I'm so encouraged, and I've got to believe that he's going to get an opportunity to do that again.
63 pitches for Urena, his longest outing by inning. And here is Phelps. And the breaking ball misses. It's 1-0. Phelps gets Neil Walker, Curtis Granderson, and Jose Reyes. So 6 innings, the 1 hit, and the defensive alignment has Dietrich at third, though he just trotted over to second with a shift on Walker, and Justin Bohr goes in at first base. We will try to get you a report on Martin Prado, though it did look hamstring related. Jessica Blaylock is down close to the dugout, and certainly on Marlins Live we'll get you a full report on Miguel Rojas and on Prado. Rojas a sore thumb, Prado leaving with an apparent leg injury. Three and one for the Mets second baseman. Walker has not had a great series. He's 1 for 10. He pops that one foul and out of play. And he got him. Phelps comes back and gets the strikeout.
Nicely done by David Phelps.
This date in Marlins history brought to you by Geico. Bruce Avon. It's the first pinch hit grand slam. 7th inning blast. And that was in Los Angeles against your Dodgers.
I must have been there, I think.
In 99?
Oh, I was definitely there in 99. I'm not sure I remembered, historically speaking. it was a painful loss that day for the Dodgers.
You were young then.
Yes, I was much younger.
Phelps thought about the bare hand. He's got Etch behind him, and nicely done by Echeverria and by Phelps.
Yes. Your first instinct is always to go to that baseball. You see so many guys do that. Phelps wiser for not sticking his bare hand out there. Echeverria playing back through the middle. A couple of quick outs for David Phelps. Good cutter working this afternoon.
Reyes, Etch, sliding, throwing, getting Reyes. Have a day at Danny Echeverria. A couple hits, a homer, and some nice glove work. We look forward to Marlins Live. Danny Echeverria, it looks like a pinch hitter, and Ichiro is on deck. And then D. Gordon. The Mets, of course, started the lefty Adam Wilk. Paul Sewald came in and gave the Mets some length and some innings. Josh Edgin in the game now. Reyes throws out Echeverria. And so Edgin throws a pitch and gets it out here in the 8th, and here comes Ichiro. Adam Wilk ended up going 3 2/3. Nice ovation for Ichiro. 8 hits, 6 runs. Walked 1, struck out 2, and gave up 3 homers. Sewald 3 1/3. Nick Wickren in Miami's bullpen. You know, the other thing about Ichiro is he tries to get going. Marlins have a short bench, and he ends up getting a lot of at-bats against guys like this.
Well,
there's a liner down the line, and that's a hit. And into the corner it goes, and off to the races is 43-year-old Ichiro with a double.
As Tony Gwynn used to say, take 2 and go to left right there. Well done by Ichiro. It's his second double of the season. Cutter, hard slider away, stays on it and drives down that left field line. Shortens up a little bit right there, keeps both feet on the ground. But you're absolutely right about how the at-bats in a lot of ways have gone for Ichiro and for Dietrich as well. You know, being left-handed, a lot of times brought into the game in double switches as opposed to pinch hitting. When you're pinch hitting, a lot of times a manager can, you know, obviously strategize where he's going to use you.
Gordon's roller has Reyes to his left. Ichiro gets to third.
You can play the matchup game a little better when you're using your bench in pinch hitting roles, but when you're having to do the double switch, and because for the Marlins the starting pitching hasn't been giving you tremendous length in ball games, you know, you're having to switch these guys, double switch them into ball games. It allows the opposition to get their bullpen lined up to where, you know, these lefties are falling. So yes, they are facing more lefties, it seems, than righties when entering the ball game.
Yelich takes the strike. Christian with a double in the 4th. And a 1-for-3 ball game. Ball and a strike. Busy inning for Reyes. And Edgin gives up a hit but not a run. Miami's lead is 7-0. colds, wets, winds. Cuban Heritage Night will be nice and dry for sure at Marlins Park on the 13th. It's presented by Hialeah Park Racing and Casino. A free screening of Que Pasa USA celebrates its 40th anniversary. Purchase a special event ticket and you'll receive an exclusive Cafecito Cup. Marlins.com/special events. Wilmer Flores, Rene Rivera, pitcher spot. And it's Nick Wickren who takes over for David Phelps. This was a Jose Urena start and a beauty. 6 innings of shutout ball and just 1 hit by the Mets. That was a Rene Rivera single. Flores trying to lift and separate there. Well, we told you that we would try to comb through the record books and find the longest home run in Citi Field history. As we told you, there are varying estimates or reports on home run distances. But we're going with Fox Sports and Giancarlo Stanton's home run off of Jacob deGrom last year, 470. So he was 2 feet shy of that, according to StatCast. His home run that hit the glass up on the restaurant in left field.
I just like how it startled everybody on the other side of the glass. That was the best part of it.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And he got him at the knees.
Good fastball by Nick Wickman right there at the knees, bottom end of the zone. Flores has been attacking pitches up all series long, but dial it down into the low zone.
Okay, here's Stanton's home run off the restaurant. This is 3rd inning. You can see the folks up there enjoying their meal, and then all of a sudden,
what just happened? That one table in particular, I think there's a young lady with like pink, maybe sweatpants on. They kind of jumped. They were certainly a little startled. I don't think they were anticipating any kind of glass action in the game today.
No, maybe at a Rangers game.
Maybe.
A New York Rangers game, that is. Liner, Gordon is there. And there's 2 outs.
Watch it as it comes down that table right there. Oh, they just kind of jump a little bit. What just happened?
The waiter, look at the waiter though. He didn't miss a beat. I don't know if he was opening a bottle of wine or what he was doing there. So that was 468 according to StatCast. Wickren gets a strike. Wickren has a buddy on the Mets, Kevin Plawecki. Those two were teammates at Purdue. And Plawecki used to catch Wickren when he was the closer for the Boilermakers. There's been another Fernando Salas sighting. He's in the Mets bullpen. Marlins have seen him in all, well, the first 2 games, and now they see him in the pen. Looks like they're going to see him in all 3.
Often used, readily available.
And that is a skill and a commodity in the modern day game.
It certainly is.
Relievers that can take the ball not only on consecutive days, but 3 days in a row.
Well, I'm sure Terry Collins is going to be raving about the job that Sewald did coming into today's ball game.
Yeah, because the Mets, just like the Marlins, have games to play.
Well, was some vulnerability there with the suspension to Harvey. Wilk gets the start. He doesn't go very long. Sewald comes into the ballgame having pitched last night, oh, by the way, roughly 16 hours ago. Comes in and throws nearly 60 pitches today.
Terry Collins and the Mets have the Giants here for 3. Marlins, of course, have the Cardinals. Marlins Park tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. 6:30 for Marlins Live. South Florida Honda dealers. Proud to present that quality baseball programming. Live from Marlins Park. And not only live from Marlins Park, but live from the set of the All-Star Game pregame show on Fox on July 11th. That very set that Craig Minervini and Preston Wilson and Jeff Nelson and Jeff Conine sit in and on.
Nice job. You tucked that in there beautifully.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. That'll be teeming with talent for the All-Star Game.
Sure will.
I mean, Fox is going to have like 9 guys in suits on that thing. They'll have Pete Rose up there. They'll have A-Rod up there. Big Hurt will be up there. Kevin Burkhardt will be up there. They usually rope in another current player who's, available.
I know Fox is going to be all over this, and I referenced it a little bit earlier in the game, but I can't help but think about it once again with talking about Giancarlo Stanton hitting tape measure home runs. But my hope and desire to see a derby finale of Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, I think, would be one for the ages. Maybe if that happens at Marlins Park, it would be even more special.
But I don't think we're going to let ESPN use the set because they've got the home run derby.
Oh, that's right.
Although maybe we will. I know that would be kind.
Forgot about the separation between the two. You're right. No, we won't let them use the set.
I don't know. I have friends over there. Maybe. But no, they'll do a fine job on the home run derby. Here's a 1-2. Boy, Nick Wickren whistles one by Juan Legares. Good fastball there. 7-0 Miami. Forward is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep, get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. 7-0 Miami on top. We've been using that as our wind meter most of the day. Our Doppler radar is down, and so she's been kind enough to measure wind speed. That's her assistant.
I believe that wind meter. It's been brisk here today. It's been more like September than it has May.
We thought we'd see Fernando Salas. We were right. Here's Ozuna and Salas. 2 for 4 is Ozuna. And having a really nice run again. Ozuna earlier this year was a Player of the Week in the National League. There's Salas' 3rd straight appearance in the series. 9-game hit streak for Ozuna. Double and a single today. He's also homered in the series. His road trip's been pretty good too. 9 for 19. And 2 homers, a couple doubles. The slugging percentage for Ozuna is terrific. .595 coming in, added to it with the double.
What an assault he has put on the Mets. Saw those numbers up there against the Mets this year. .450 with 4 homers and 12 RBIs.
Of course, you might think, hey, a .595 slugging percentage, that might put him in the top 10. Well, look, it's early, so there's some big ones. None bigger than Ryan Zimmerman, slugging .907. Now, for those of you that aren't a connoisseur of slugging percentage, the average slugging percentage in the National League is .418.
So he's been more than twice as good as your average major leaguer.
And the slugging percentage is a barometer of how much damage you do.
Yeah.
Extra base hits.
Bases.
Bouncer, it's fair. And Ozuna is thrown out. Right hamstring discomfort for Prado.
He's going to get checked out today and certainly checked out tomorrow back in Miami. His facial expression is any indicator. Did not look comfortable coming off the field.
Here's Stanton, 2 homers on the day. And a ground ball to third. Flores throws him out. Salas gets a couple ground balls. Now, if you missed it, Martin Prado did not start this game. This was to be a day off. But when Rojas hurt his thumb, Prado came in for him. And this was probably 4 or 5 innings after he came in the game. And obviously in discomfort.
Coming around second base, absolutely felt some abnormality in his, looked to be his right hamstring.
Bohr is the hitter. Terry Collins actually bringing in a lefty to face him with 2 outs here in the 9th. walk-up music or entrance music, because he's not a closer, nor is he that deep in the Mets hierarchy. But Smoke on the Water, Deep Purple, long ago. And so here is Smoker. Justin Bour fouls it back. Bour doubled off of Smoker in game 1, while the Marlins were on their way to a 7-1 lead, and they lost that game. Bour, of course, did not start, but he had to come in. The Marlins lost 2 players in this 5 spot in the order. Rojas with the sore thumb, and then Prado with the hamstring. Bour takes down low.
See the fastball right there. Last time the Marlins saw Smoker working a good changeup in his sequencing, along with that 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. Now, I think his secondary pitches have gotten away from him 2 or 3 weeks since then.
Slider, Bour has to duck out of the way.
For Smoker, the ERA has gone up. The results have not been nearly the same as they were earlier in the season.
It's out. Bour works a walk. And now Derek Dietrich gets to face the lefty. Dietrich is 3 for 4, which is not only good for Dietrich, but good for the Marlins, because looking forward through the week, Dietrich is going to get a lot of playing time. If the thumb is of any consequence for Rojas, the hamstring certainly does not look good for Prado.
Well, there's some at-bats to be had, one way or another, for Derek Dietrich to have a game like he has had today, just all over it. I didn't even think how he's hit the ball. 2 base hits to right, line drive to right, then a double to left. Really good to see.
It was the right hamstring that Prado injured in the World Baseball Classic in Mexico.
I just wonder how all of that's connected. Between the right hamstring, and if it was the right calf muscle, and now the right hamstring again. You can't help but feel like, you know, even when he was playing, there might have been some sort of lingering injury in there.
Dietrich takes out, counts 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Factor in the conditions today, chilly temperatures.
Nope. Count full, 3-2. I've been told by a Mets insider that Smoke on the Water is indeed Josh Smoker's song.
Oh, yeah.
That's very nice.
Seems appropriate.
How many modern day Mets know who Deep Purple is? I mean, I barely remember. Check swing, did he go? Nope.
Not.
Dietrich walks. Well, Terry Collins brought Smoker in because either he wanted him to get some work in or he wanted him to face the 2 lefties, and he's walked him. That's close. Probably could have gone either way. So here's A.J. Ellis.
Couple of quality at bats for the lefties. Went up against Smoker. Down in the count. Worked their way back. Draw a couple of walks. An opportunity for A.J. Ellis to do some more damage.
Ellis out to short. Reyes in time for the out. And Miami's done in the ninth. Mets down to their last 3 outs. Here in the ninth, in a 7-0 Miami lead. Home runs for the Fish, 3 of them. 2 long ones from Giancarlo Stanton, including the second longest in Citi Field history, 468 feet. Also a 438 feet. Mere child's play. Off the facing of the second
You know
deck
what?
in
I'm going
left
to
field.
I'll put some significant value on the first one just because of the tone that it set in this ball game. And you think back to this road trip and this stretch of about 10 games that the Marlins have played, only able to come up with a couple of wins. That home run the pressure, it was released right there. You just kind of had that sense that it was going to be the Marlins' day when Giancarlo hit that first home run, that first 3-run shot in the first inning, and it really has. Urania has settled in. Fantastic start for him and a 7-0 lead here in the ninth.
Yeah, Stanton's homer was a 3-run homer in the first off of Adam Wilk making the emergency start in place of the suspended Matt Harvey. Ramos gets a strike on Michael Conforto. Be interesting to see if Harvey does start game 2 against the Giants on the Tuesday, because it's a 3-game suspension. The Mets said he started to serve that suspension last night.
Well, he's slated to do it. I don't know if anything in today's ball game would lead the Mets to deviate from that game plan.
You know, at one level, you salute Sandy Alderson and the Mets, because it would have been easy to suspend him after the start today and then not pay him for 3 days when he wasn't pitching, but they suspended him right away, and it included obviously a start of today. Sometimes teams, whether it's a suspension or the like, will kind of manipulate it, but
well, that's exactly right.
They
and
obviously felt it was serious enough to do it right away.
there's always multiple messages that are sent, not only to Matt Harvey and the circumstances around his suspension, but to the team and how the organization chooses how to handle it. Players are always watching. If a particular player, one of your guys, if it's the dark knight or it's the 25th man on your roster, does something that's questionable, that has the clubhouse watching, the organization's not willing to do anything about it, it raises questions inside that clubhouse. They jump on this. They say this is how it is, whether it's our most important guy or the 25th guy. They're going to handle their business, and this is how it's going to be. And I think that message is easily as important as is winning ball games when it comes down to it. It's a long, long season, but if they had done kind of what you were alluding to, suspend him after the start, I think that regardless, I think a lot of players would have questioned that.
Yep. Like I said, you salute him for that. TJ Rivera to the plates. The Mets have one hit. That's it. Rene Rivera, a single in the 6th inning. Urena, Phelps, Wickren, and now Ramos for Miami. Pitch down low. 18 one-hitters in Marlins history. Until Johan Santana threw one for the Mets. Didn't the Mets have like 34 or 33 one-hitters?
I just think it's so interesting, the placement of this ball game today. Circumstances that were led into this start, not just for the Marlins, but obviously for the Mets, and then the Marlins taking full advantage. Urena, he knew he was getting the start for a few days, but just came out today and made pitches. Absolutely outstanding performance from Urena.
Hit him. It clips TJ Rivera, and he's aboard. So that ties a major league record for the most hitters hit in a series. And my guess is that of the times it's happened, this is the least contentious series of all.
There hasn't been one warning, not one look across the diamond, not any kind of anything from any of the umpires. And this is, I mean, I'm almost willing to bet that might be the first fastball that clipped a guy. Most of them have been breaking balls.
I think Kohler's the one they hit Jay Bruce with the other night was a fastball.
Might have been. I thought it might have been a slider. I'm not sure. We'll have to go back and look, but you're right. I mean, it could very well have been, but it just hasn't been many. And the point is that we've seen a lot of this in this series, but how often do we see it in today's game where 10 guys are hitting a 3-game series and
nobody's angry with each other?
Nobody's looked right, not even twice at each other, like, we're going to get you back.
Rivera's at first. This is Bruce. Ramos with a count 1-1. And a strike. Bruce an 0 for 3. Has knocked in 3 runs in the series with a couple of hits. Yelich is back at the track, makes the catch. And Rivera retreats back to first base. Seventeen one-hitters in Marlins history. So this would be the 18th. And of course, the Marlins had one at Seattle in a Wei-Yin Chen start this season.
Now, that's why you love the game of baseball. The Marlins, a lot of things not really going their way on this trip in the last couple of weeks, and then you come into Citi Field on a cold Sunday afternoon on getaway day, get maybe your best start, maybe your second best start of the season, and the offense comes alive. You and I emphasized and stressed the importance of the win. We tried to steer clear of even the Harvey story, because it really didn't matter how the Marlins would come up with a win today. They just needed a win desperately.
O'Neill Walker with a 1-0 pitch from A.J. Ramos. Been a while for A.J. Ramos. A.J.'s last appearance was on the 2nd of May, about 5 days ago. He's 3-0, and he walks Neil Walker. We'll get Granderson now. Well, that's the first walk issue, no, second walk issue. Urania walked 1 in the 6th. Two walks, 2 hit batters. And Granderson 0 for 3.
Breaking ball has been much more reliable for Ramos this afternoon than the fastball. The command has kind of left him on the fastball. I'm surprised if you might see him double up right here.
On the ground, Bohr has it. Ball game, and the Marlins get a much needed win here in New York. They used the long ball early. Denny Echeverria homered. Giancarlo Stanton hit 2 long ones, and then a brilliant start from Jose Urania, which might just earn him another start. That's something we'll discuss certainly on Marlins Live coming up, as the Marlins get 1 game of this 3-game set, and now a long homestand with the Cardinals, the Braves, and the Astros. 7-0. Miami wins it. Marlins Live is next.